You know, when we hear terms like ADHD, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, we hear terms like autism, we just classify them and just put those kinds of people in a certain class and category in our minds. But research has shown that 15 to 20% of global population are actually neurodivergent. Yes, neurodivergence or neurodiversity is the term, the umbrella term that covers these individuals these persons who suffer these learning disabilities. Today, we are going to be delving deep into these learning disabilities and what we can do as a country, what we can do as individuals, what you can do as an organization to increase awareness, to provide interventions, and to leave no man behind. This is the Inspire Youth Show, and today, let's learn about neurodivergence. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Inspire Youth Show. If this is your first time here, my name is Sambo, HRH Sambo, doctor by day, MC by night, and superhero all day. But today, I am your host right here at the Inspire Youth Show. What we do on the Inspire Youth Show is that we tell inspiring stories. Yes, stories of real people who have conquered or who are excelling in their fields, whatever field it may be. Those are the kind of stories that we share and we talk about at the Inspire Youth Show. Today, we are delving into special education needs. We're talking about neurodivergence, and I'm excited to welcome to the Inspire Youth Show today the Executive Director of Unique Minds Integrated Consults. This psychologist is here with us today. Let's welcome Doris Kange.
Thank you very much, His Royal Highness.
Thank you very much, Doris, for coming. You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah. So let's start with the basics. I can tell you that I'm coming into this shoot with a mind to learn, and that's exactly what I want my audience to also do. I want them to learn. But tell us the basics of neurodiversity or learning disorders. Many of us might know it as conditions like ADHD, autism, but just tell us the basics, the entire spectrum. What does it mean?
Special needs or being on a spectrum, you cannot talk about it entirely because even as we speak, new ones are coming.
Wow.
Yes, but we can only say that neurodiversity is the idea of neurodiversity is when a person's brain processes information differently, receives and processes information differently. And that does not mean it's a problem.
Okay.
That means that person is just processing information differently.
Wow. All right. So tell my audience right now, what are the different learning disorders or disabilities as they process information differently? I tried to mention that in the intro, some of those names. So just walk us through the spectrum. What are those?
Some of the spectrum.
Yes, some of it. As you said, it's so wide, but
yes,
just walk us through.
Very wide. Okay, so we have the common ones, the autism.
Good.
We have the different classes of learning disabilities.
Okay.
For example, dyslexia, dyscalculia, graphias, etc., etc. We have the Down syndromes. I'm calling these ones because they are the ones that are very common.
Okay.
Okay. We have the Down syndromes. We have the yes, basically those
that.
ones. Yes. So for the autism, you could have the hyper, you can have the hypo.
Okay.
Okay, and under the autism, some of these children, I'm going to try to be as lay as possible so that
please.
I wish I could even speak pidgin.
Please.
So that even someone coming across this show for the first time will understand. So let's take autism, for example.
Yeah.
Some of them process information very fast. Some process information very slow.
Yeah.
Okay. So that is where we say that is the idea is that people process informations differently.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, one of the reasons why I'm doing this show today and I'm doing it in this style is because I found out in the university that I did better when I had conversations around my work rather than just reading.
Yes.
Yes. I found out that having a conversation about the things we're trying to study, I would remember everything verbatim if I get into the exam hall. And that is what is inspiring a bit of this show today, to see that these people who process information differently, we don't leave them behind. Can you tell us how big of a problem this is? My own research shows 15 to 20% of the global population are actually people of neurodiversity. They process information differently.
Yes.
But how large is it? Because
about 20-25. Research can only tell us as much as they can reach.
yes.
So, for example, if person A don't bring out or exposes or talks about his or her child
Yeah.
who is on the spectrum, mind you, that child is not going to be recorded in any research.
Yeah.
Okay, and it's actually big, and it's a growing concern. It's a growing concern because there's so much awareness now.
Yeah.
And because of the awareness, people are no longer ashamed of keeping this group of persons. I don't want to be specific with children, because we have young adults and we have adults who are also on the spectrum. So people are no longer shying away from keeping this group of persons or hiding them or not talking about them. So it's really, really growing, and it's about 20 to 25% now.
Wow.
Yes, because
People are coming out more.
Yes, people are coming out more, and people are beginning to even carry out assessments of themselves and know, okay, so maybe I could be having OCD and
Obsessive compulsive
yes,
disorder.
and it's normal. Okay, it's normal. It's not like, okay, someone will come label me, okay, the way you do things in your house, it looks like you have OCD, and then I'm going to have a problem with it. I've been with friends who have told me, Doris, I think I have OCD.
Interesting.
I'm telling you.
Wow.
Then I've been with friends who have looked at their children and like, okay, I think this child is hyper. You understand? So talking about for me, we cannot be specific yet.
Okay.
We cannot be specific yet.
All right.
Yeah.
That's fine. So tell me a bit of the reasons why people before now have shied away from coming forward.
Society.
Yes, society.
Society.
Is it? Are they considered? How are they considered? Olodo.
Yes,
So that's like foolish.
Yes.
You don't have sense.
Yes. Abaya.
Abaya. Wow.
What do you call them? Coconut heads.
Coconut head.
Yes.
Wow.
So with the awareness, and with more people not being in denial, it has really, really helped. You understand? But basically, the awareness, the fact that, especially from schools, the fact that when you go to schools now, you see children that on back in the days were supposed to be locked up in the room. You understand? Or even thrown away. Yes. Or even thrown away. Okay, so but now, because of the awareness, you see them in school being included with other children.
Nice.
And then you see the specialists and the class teachers mapping out their own learning curriculum to suit they are learning.
To suit
And
their
yes,
learning.
and then even outside of the four walls of the school,
Yeah.
you see them at workplaces. Like I have a couple of children I've worked with, young adults I've worked with, that are working in places. I have one who is even married in somewhere in the south.
Interesting.
South, you know. So I go to check up on them.
Yeah.
One is into arts, and when you go there, you see that even the local Hausa people at the ones we say they are not educated
Yes.
at the arts and craft, you still see the way they've marked out his own kind of drawings
Okay.
and arts and everything. He does it, they display it, they sell it, they give him his money.
Interesting. So that means these individuals that we're talking about, these persons that we're talking about, actually have the capacity to live fairly normal lives at the end of the day.
Yes, they have. They do have. Don't forget that they are just processing differently.
Oh.
They have. I, for one, I'm not someone who believes that anybody is useless.
Okay.
So I have this. I'm a pusher.
Okay.
I drive. I make sure I see the end of a problem.
All right.
I make sure that's one personality I have, that sometimes I even say to myself, are you not doing too much? Doris, are you not doing too much? I will push you. There is no human being who is or who should be looked at as this person can't do it.
Interesting.
You understand?
Yeah.
No, the only point a living thing gets to being useless is at death.
Interesting.
That's all. So they can.
Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if you're feeling the passion of Doris Kange. I can feel it right here. Do me a favor and subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed.
Yes.
And if you have questions and comments even about this, or if you're one of the individuals who is living with someone, or you're actually living with one of these conditions, please share it with us in the comment section.
You have a child, you have anyone, share your stories with us. You're not alone in this.
Excellent. So let me touch a bit on you. Maybe share with us how you got into this. Already I can feel your passion. You already told us you're a pusher. You get things done.
Exactly.
So but how did you get into this field of special needs, special education for these kinds of people?
Okay, so I always get this question, and I'm not surprised because I'm always asked these questions, even by my clients, by parents of children I work with. And I'm always trying to figure out, where did it come from? And I got it. Aha.
You don't have a child that has?
No.
You don't?
I don't have a child on the spectrum. So I guess it's just something I was born with. Because growing up as a child, you see, then we used to call them quarters.
Okay.
So where my dad was, where we were living, was a very big quarters, you know. So you see me take children, and especially the ones that are less, in quotes, status, and then you see me bring them to my house. We had a very big compound between the main house. The boys' quarters was very big. You see me bring them, those that have wounds,
lower economic status, socioeconomic status.
I don't want to
Okay,
say
I know.
I don't want to say
But just for my audience, let them know what you're talking about. So you bring them in.
So I bring them in, you know, and then you see me. My dad got me a first aid box. If they have wounds, you see me treating the wounds. They don't have food. So whatever my father needed to do it like maybe 4. So if he's buying, say, inner wears for me, it has to be by 4. Because he knows that one day he might see me with no inner wear and then ask me, and then I'll say, oh, sorry, I gave it to this person. And so my parents and the family as a whole thought I was going to be a medical doctor. Wow. You know, so I went in for that, but couldn't cope.
You couldn't cope with medicine?
At all. Because,
what was it?
Because,
the blood? The dead bodies?
Exactly. I can't stand physical injuries on myself or on anybody. You know, so we started the battle there. My dad, my uncle, who was also a medical doctor, late now. Oh, there's no way, blah, 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 blah. We come from a family of this. So I had to go to my grandmom and I had to say to my grandmom, I am not coping. I'm not coping. I can't sleep. I can't do anything. So my grandmom spoke to a professor in my school who knew her. And then he advised that, well, there are so many things you can do for people. Okay. You mustn't be in the medical field.
Nice.
You can go into psychology, and then you find yourself in clinic, or you still find yourself helping people, but definitely not tearing people up, or not meeting with dead bodies. Especially when someone has an accident.
Oh, okay. So such gory wounds.
Exactly.
You could manage the little ones, but big ones you couldn't.
I couldn't. So that was how I found myself in psychology. Okay, so I read the psychology, and then I went for service, and when I went for my orientation in Ikare, and I redeployed back to Abuja.
Yeah.
And my cousin, I remember my cousin, two of my cousins, one wanted me to work with an NGO. And I kept saying, no, I wouldn't want to work with an NGO. Either I work at an orphanage place, or somewhere, Then the other one got a space for me at Zenith Bank, and still I couldn't cope there. Then I found myself at an NGO.
Okay.
Yes, a special needs, that work with children with special needs. And that is where I started my career. Yes. And I was in no time, before I even finished my NYSC, I was permanented. They gave me my letter.
They gave you a permanent job at that same NGO.
And promoted. In fact, I was like their key staff. And I was glad I served with them and I worked with them, because you could see the director, the woman who owns that. It still runs till date, the Zamar Institute.
Okay.
I am always grateful to the woman who owns it and who started it, because I can never tell my story without her. She also doesn't have a child on the spectrum.
Nice.
But you need to see the passion. There's no way you will come through her and not have this passion.
Interesting.
She is just too passionate about persons on the spectrum.
Interesting.
Yes. So,
are there formal trainings and education in special needs?
Yes, they are formal. There are a lot of trainings in this field. But I always tell people that if you really want to know about this field, be in the field.
Okay.
Be in the field. So I don't sit and boss around that, because, okay, I have an existing organization that, no. I am in the field. As a matter of fact, I am not just working with children. I work with young adults. I work with adults. And now I've delved into working with people who have suffered stroke.
Oh. For their rehabilitation.
Yes, I rehabilitate people who have suffered from stroke. Some of them, because of that, they can't even use their oral regions properly.
Nice.
I work with them. They begin to swallow.
Okay.
They begin to chew. And just, you might look at it like it's little, but these are things that you see a lot of families are very, very happy. Oh, thank goodness. Once upon a time, we're using the pegs to feed, but now my mom, my wife, my husband, my father is now orally eating,
All right.
Or taking in, yes.
Interesting. It's still the Inspire Youth show. Today we're looking at special education needs. We're looking at neurodiversity. We're looking at learning disabilities. And we have the Executive Director of Unique Minds Integrated Consults, Doris Kange. The show continues. I'd like to pause just for a minute to talk about the sponsors of today's show. The sponsors of the Inspire Youth show today is the Yasni's Cafe. Yasni's Cafe is your number one choice when it comes to your cafe needs right in the city of Abuja. This is Utako, Jabi area of Abuja, and they are your number one choice for that refreshing cafe feeling and vibe. Yasnis Cafe has also opened up its podcast studio, and that's the studio that this episode of the Inspire Youth Show is being shot in. I want you to patronize Yasnis Cafe today, and thank you, Yasnis Cafe, for sponsoring this episode of the Inspire Youth Show. Yasnis Cafe, a serene taste. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Inspire Youth Show. Let's continue our conversation, and I want to ask you, Madam Doris, what are the common myths, misunderstandings when it comes to this space of special education needs, when it comes to neurodiversity? What are the common myths that you find, especially in Nigeria or in Africa? Tell us.
Guess one.
It's a spiritual problem. Am I correct? So they take them for deliverance.
Oh my goodness. So you see people taking them, delivering them, you know. Do you know that even when you're working with children, be it in their homes, I have seen cases where grandparents have brought one traditional thing and are sitting there and insisting whatever it is, my grandchild has to be taking this. So you know that's spiritual. Honestly, it's one aspect that have really caused issues for us. You know, so the spiritual aspect is there. And then the spiritual is very broad, because you also see cases where they say this child is a witch. You know, the way he behaves, very wicked child. The way this child is behaving is like the child is possessed. You know, there's something wrong with the child. And also, for me, that's like the most common
myth around this.
Myth about it. And yes, spiritual. It's a spiritual thing.
All right.
My enemies are after me. You know, I knew it. That woman that looked at me when I was pregnant, that woman,
that's where it came from.
Yes, that's where it came from, you know.
Wow.
So they go there. I'm not saying that, yes, we shouldn't pray, you know, but you pray and then you face the truth while you pray.
That's true.
You understand?
That's correct.
So I can't be sick and then lock myself up in the room and I'm busy praying without going to the hospital. I will take the action. I'll go to the hospital. Then I will be praying alongside. So that is one of the most common myths.
One of the things you've said is that you don't only work with children. Although for me, this conversation was sparked by seeing children who require special needs and special education. But then, is there any benefit to starting your interventions early?
So much. Early intervention is very, very key. You understand? Because the developmental stages of life from ages 0 to 5 are very, very important. That is when a lot of things in the body. Remember, I said I'm going to be as
lay as possible. Speaking in layman terms. Yes,
exactly. So that is when a lot of things are developing. The vocals, that is the things that are responsible for us to verbalize, to talk the way we are talking, are also forming and all. So, and children that are on the spectrum, you know, if you go to the M chart, you will see that from a particular age to a particular age, it is expected that a child should be doing certain things.
Yes.
You know. And once your child is not doing that, for example, not giving eye contact, not producing sounds in a more structured way, not babbling in a more structured way. Like, for example, a child of 7, 8 months thereabout, some children are supposed to be saying ba 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 ba, mama mama mama, but then you see a mute child, or you see a child that is saying, babbling off point, you know, and then that child gets to 1, that child gets to 2, when he or she is supposed to be verbalizing, you know, properly, and you're just correcting some of the words, and that child is not doing that. It is very important for you to quickly seek help. It is important for you to quickly seek help. Let me tell you something, HR. I have never been presented with a child less than 5 years old that you haven't seen a tremendous progress and difference from a child that is presented to me after age 5.
Okay.
So I always encourage
when
parents.
they come earlier, the
when they
outcome is
come
better.
early, you catch them.
Oh, nice.
When they come early, you catch them. I'm telling you, I have children who came early, they are reading. Is the behaviors, let's say for example, they are hyperactive or they are restless, are the behaviors going to be there? Yeah, the behaviors will come in. Don't forget they are children, okay? But are you going to see very good progress? You're going to see very, very good progress.
Lovely.
I've even worked with children that are still within that learning environment. I'm talking about schools now. And trust me, even the school, society itself, community itself have forgotten that this child was once like this. They walk past the child.
Amazing.
Exactly. I'm telling you, so it's very important.
Okay.
And when you start, it's also very important that you work hand in hand with the therapist.
Okay.
You understand? Whatever is happening at home with your child, we want to know. And then we set goals together.
So it involves the family as well as the institutions.
Everybody around the family.
Nice.
As a matter of fact, I tell people that even in the church, in grandparents' houses, uncles' houses, your house, everything must be together. So I'm not going to say that we want this child to say whoa to take water. So take or don't bring a dispenser into your house, or just shut down the dispenser and then get water, and then when you get the water, put it up.
Okay.
So as to frustrate the efforts of this child.
Nice.
To make sure the child says something, just
to ask for that thing.
Yes, for that thing.
Amazing.
And then the child goes to the grandparents' house, and then there's water
everywhere.
In fact, there's a help holding water and moving around to give the child. You understand? So it has to do with everybody that is connected to that child.
All right. I want to ask you, just before you tell us the interventions and we coast towards the end of this, what is the goal of the intervention? What do you seek to accomplish in supporting these kinds of persons?
Independence to an extent.
Okay.
Because we are all not fully independent.
Yes.
I want to believe you're married.
Yes, I am. Blessed.
I know.
I'm married, yes.
Yes, I know very well. You ask your wife, where did I drop this?
True.
Where did I drop this? So you are not fully independent. My goal for every child that is on the spectrum that is presented to me is the future for that child. I don't want a society that in the next 20 years or 30 years will be filled with people who don't know how to contribute their quota to the society. You know, so it's independence for me. That's the first goal. To an extent, if you're able to, even if the ones that are not on the spectrum, if they are able to start brushing by 5, and you're able to start brushing by 7, the most important thing is you have become independent of
somebody helping you
to brush your teeth.
Nice.
And that is how, one step at a time, you progress with your life, you progress with that independence. You know, you're dropping off those things, those skills you were so dependent on people to do. And then as you grow, as you continue, we continue the journey. I'm still looking at your SWOT. And SWOT, by the way, the strength, weakness, opportunities, and the threats.
Yeah.
So in a very layman's language, it's just, I'm still looking at the things that you can do. Then I'm not looking at the things you cannot do. So I always use the things you can do to build on those things that you cannot do. So I pick out just the strength and the opportunity. I don't look at the weakness. I don't look at the threats.
Okay.
I don't look at people's weakness or threats.
And the opportunities.
Yes.
Lovely.
I always look at people, not just persons on the spectrum. I always look at your strength. I always look at the opportunities I can quickly grab and build on that strength.
And this is an opportunity for you to subscribe to the channel and to like this video. Please share it with somebody and do me a favor and drop a comment, okay?
Yes,
this
please.
is that opportunity for you to do that. I want you to tell us quickly what the interventions are like for such individuals.
The
I've
programs,
heard
right?
the program.
Yes.
So I've heard you say something like doing an assessment. You check to SWOT assessment, SWOT analysis. So tell us, just walk us through what the interventions you do.
What the process is like.
Yeah.
So the first thing, I get a phone call. Oh, Doris, I was referred to you by a friend who you've worked with the child. Blah, 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 and this, so I have a child, this. So the first thing I try to do is I warm up. Because let me tell you, you must first and foremost befriend your clients.
Okay.
You see those parents? They are my family.
So anybody trying to get into this spectrum, into this field of work, you need to be a people person.
You need to be a people person.
Your interpersonal skills, interrelational skills are very important.
Very, very important.
Okay.
I warm up to them, and then I don't make it look like a big deal, because the truth about it is, it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal.
Wow.
So you talk about your child. We always end up striking a deal or arranging for, okay, so when can I see your child? Okay, Doris, when would you want to look at my child? So if it's a child that is in the country, we fix for when you bring the child for observation. If the child is not within the country, I tell you, just send me videos of the child, videos that are not being manipulated either by the presence of anyone or someone saying, don't do that, don't do. Just let the child be his or herself, and let me look at the videos. And then I assess the child. While I'm assessing the child, I give you your own parent assessment form, because I feel there are so many things you also want to talk about.
Yeah.
So when I'm done assessing, I get your own form, I look at them side by side, and then I sit and I chat with you. That's the assessment part. Then I pull up the plan. A workable plan for the child, and then we begin to work.
Are the interventions lifelong or they're periodic?
Yes, some interventions are lifelong. I will give an example of one of the people I work with that is married, okay? The partner has taken up from where we stopped.
Lovely.
You understand?
So support,
yes, it's lifelong, and I mean, it's not a big deal. Neurodiversity is not, so we're saying lifelong does not mean that you and I don't need intervention. Do you know you need intervention?
Yes, I do.
I need interventions too. In fact, everybody in this country, Nigeria, needs intervention. You understand? So it's just because some people have it at an extreme that would definitely need people always being there for them. That's all.
Oh, excellent. So, excellent. All right. I want to ask you maybe some calls to action. What can that individual do who is watching this show, an individual do? What can families do? What can organizations do? What can Nigeria do? Maybe policies. What can government do? What can Africa do to see how maybe no child is left behind? No human person, being.
Because that child is going to grow.
Yeah.
That child is going to grow. So let's just practice more of inclusion. Let's practice more of inclusion. Let's stop looking at some category of people like, okay, they can't fit in here. So for example, in every ministry, let's have a workable opportunity for persons on the spectrum. Create areas where they can work.
Lovely.
Because the policies are there, but they are not working.
They're not
policies, yes, they are not enforced. So you go to ministries and you can't even find a single person on the spectrum. And the highest they do is they take people who are physically disabled or have auditory challenges, and the visuals are very few, even here and there, here and there, here and there. And then they put, but that is not all about special needs.
Yeah.
In fact, the main special needs is the
neurodivergent or the neuro.
You understand? That's the main one. So create those spaces and make sure it's working. Create them and make sure it's working. Supervise them. Always have forums where these persons can come and really say, okay, we are working in this office and this is what they are doing for us. Do we have one or two people around in these places? Yes, we do. But do we have them? Do we have, can they match the number of ones that are not in these spaces? They cannot. You understand?
Yeah.
So that is the first thing.
First level.
Inclusion.
So inclusion, and I guess that cuts from government to even organizations.
Organizations, private organizations. Let there be inclusion. See, let me tell you something. HRH. Do you know that it's as bad as how many pedestrian bridges do you see with a ramp? With a ramp.
Yeah.
How many government offices do you see with a ramp?
True.
How many people do you know this? You know this special needs we're talking about? If you go to some government offices and you talk about it, they don't know it.
They don't know it, indeed.
They will tell you, okay, is it crippled? Or is it somebody that cannot hear? Or is it somebody that cannot see? That's all they know. How many? How many people have the trainings? The government needs to put this in place. Because, mind you, we've talked about people no longer being ashamed or hiding
about
you understand? So that means we are fighting that society that said, okay, these are olodos. You understand?
Yeah.
We're fighting that society that said, okay, these are possessed people. It's a spiritual
problem. Yeah.
It's a spiritual problem. You understand? So that means these persons are going to be coming up more, and the government is going to be seeing them more, and they're going to be problem. You understand?
Yeah.
So you have to create that awareness. You have to include them. You have to train. Everybody has to know what neurodiversity is all about.
Interesting.
At least 90% of people have to know. I want to see it on the TV. I want to see people on the spectrum as little as walking in a crowd where the president is going.
Oh, amazing. Oh, I feel you.
You understand?
Yeah.
So these basic things, awareness, include them. Look at the future for them. Just don't stop at schools. Private schools, government schools, they are doing their bit. But once these children finish, what is the next thing for them?
Interesting. Do you advocate that they go to special schools?
I don't advocate that.
Okay.
That is not inclusion at all.
Oh.
I don't. But there are cases where, extreme cases, where they need special facilities, special schools. But after they are done addressing that, reintegrate them back so they don't begin to form like a society. Oh, okay, we are just, and I mean, what are they going to learn from each other?
Interesting.
What are they, how are other people, how are the rest of the society going to know them and appreciate them?
Madam Doris Kange, it feels like we can go on speaking about this for another 2 hours. It's been an interesting conversation right here on the Inspire Youth show. And you have told us to include them. Inclusion. That's the take home for me here. And it sounds like I need to get one of the individuals who are in this spectrum to be on the show. If you have anyone that you want to recommend, please drop that in the comment section. Before we bring the show to a close, Madam Doris, I'm going to be asking you some rapid response questions. Just 5 questions that you're going to respond to without thinking. Just the first thing that comes to your mind when I ask you that question. I want to hear your response. And I'll ask you to probably look into this camera. Yeah, I'll ask you to look into this camera and respond. Either that or this. Okay, let's look into this camera. All right, so rice or swallow?
Swallow.
Of course, where you come from, it has to be swallow. What particular type of swallow?
Akpu.
Not pandanyan.
Pounded yam is down.
It's down.
It's not akpu, it's amala.
It's
not
amala.
Eba.
Interesting. Social media or read a book?
Social media.
Hang out or stay at home with the family?
Stay at home with the family.
Go to school again or join politics?
Go to school again and again. I'm always schooling.
Interesting. Join APC or ADC?
Join HRH.
And that's it. Right here on the Inspire Youth Show. Join HRH on the Inspire Youth Show. Please do well to subscribe.
Please.
Leave a comment for Doris. Thank you very much, Doris, for being a part of the conversation. It has been a sweaty one, all right? Just bear with us as we keep improving the quality of the show. Please remember that you can support us by subscribing, by making a comment, by dropping questions, by recommending these videos to others, and of course by supporting with equipment. Today we're particularly grateful to the Yasnis Cafe, who have provided this cafe space or this podcast space for us to do this shoot. Until the next Inspire Youth video, bye-bye.
Bye.